Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have the Marvel Legends celebrating 85th anniversary Wolverine, essentially the astonishing X-Men Wolverine, a figure I was super excited about once they announced it, and I can't wait to have it in my collection. I've had it in my collection for a little while now. Obviously, if you can't tell based on when this video releases, I'm a little behind, but I'm getting there. But yes, I was super excited for this. Hopefully, they continue to make some astonishing X-Men action figures. We got the Cyclops, we got the Emma Frost. I would love to see a Beast at the very least, to help kind of complete that line, because I know Beast was one of those more central characters from that comic book. But for now, we have just the few, including this one, and I am super excited because this figure looks stunning. I think this might be one of the best Wolverine figures we've had. Period. Um, I do wish we had this articulation for more Wolverine figures. Obviously, this is more of a new, unique sculpt. Trying to adjust my light there. More of a unique sculpt for Wolverine, but eventually, I do hope to see more costumes in this specific sculpt right here. So I guess let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with the front of the box, you do have this nice, beautiful 85th anniversary style packaging. I am a huge fan of this style packaging. I assume, the year's almost up. Most of the figures have released of the year. I don't anticipate we'll be getting too much more this year. Nothing that hasn't already been announced. So we should be seeing this wave kind of phase out, kind of disappear, unfortunately, because I do love this packaging. But hopefully they replace it with something as nice, because this kind of went ahead and replaced the windowless packaging, and we haven't really seen what they're going to do with the more standard packaging. We haven't seen, I guess, what the new packaging will look like. Have we? We might have, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we have. Have we? I don't know. But this is, of course, like I said, the 85th anniversary. You do have the window here showing you everything you're going to get in this package. Nice window over here for whatever reason. On the back of the box, you have some nice artwork of Astonishing Wolverine right there. Then you have some more artwork of Astonishing Wolverine right there, looking pretty good. I believe that's Astonishing Wolverine. It looks like the same costume. And now we're back to the front of the box. So we can transition to the figure. Okay, so this is pretty much everything you get. Let's go ahead and set Wolverine over here in the background while we discuss some accessories. Starting with, of course, let's do these two fist hands, which look really, really nice. Let me try and get it to focus on the actual hands. There we go. I love the details of the little bits that kind of help the claws pop out. I love the way they are painted and the way they are kind of lifted up from the gloves. I think that's a really, really nice detail. Not like it's a unique detail. It's not like it's the first time we've seen it, but it's still nice to see nonetheless. I love, love, love the look of that. Of course, it is on every glove, including on this hand, which is kind of more like an open hand, like maybe he's preparing to do something, or like he's exclaiming a point, like Scott, you can't do this, or whatever type of thing. Nice hand there, and then the other one is of course a pointing hand. Why, of course, I don't know. He just has a pointing hand. It's kind of nice to have a hand like this. I don't know why. It just seems necessary. Wolverine's gonna point. You gotta have a pointing hand. And then this head sculpt right here, which looks really, really nice. You can see his baby blues. Is his eyes blue? They kind of look blue on this head sculpt. I guess they are. I don't really think of Wolverine as having blue eyes, but maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Good head sculpt. I like the details here on the hair, the way they sculpted the hair in the Wolverine fashion, the mutton chops, of course. No little stubble here on the chin or on the mustache, but it still looks nice. Very handsome man, if I do say so myself. Very, very nice sculpt here. I really enjoy that. And then the one on the actual figure is, of course, the masked head. So let's go ahead and transition to the figure. So you have on the figure itself two fist hands. But these fist hands come with the claws, of course, the very standard claws that you would find on most Wolverine figures. These are pretty much what we get nowadays. They're not too different across most figures, I believe. They do, if I remember correctly, pop out. So if you wanted them to pop out, there you go. I think it used to be if we wanted a clawless version of Wolverine, this is how we would do it. Focus on the one thing in frame. Come on. Well, that's close enough. If we wanted a clawless Wolverine, we would just have to pop the claws out, and then if we wanted them to be clawed, you just pop them back in. Easier said than done, and it doesn't always look great. I kind of wish I didn't do that, but it is a thing you can do. And now the spacing between the claws is a little wonky. I'm actually going to take these off just because it'll make it easier to talk about. It'll make it easier to talk about the figure and articulate without the claws being in the way. Let me pull this out over here. There's the fist hand, of course. There we go. That way, these claw hands are not in the way, and I'm not worried about bending or breaking any of the claws. But as far as the actual figure design goes, this looks absolutely, pun intended, astonishing. Can we just... There we go. I adore this costume design for Wolverine. I think it looks wonderful. It's a very nice modernization of the yellow and blue costume. I love what they did with the stripes and the little details, the pads everywhere. I think it looks really, really nice. A very, very nice retelling of an iconic design. And this in figure form just looks absolutely stunning. Of course, we do have the more modern articulation, which I appreciate. We'll get to that once we go over the articulation. But also, among all the details, like the head sculpt, look really, really stunning. Of course, we only have one type of head sculpt on this figure. It's the angry head sculpt. I do wish we could have gotten maybe one more head sculpt of like a calm Wolverine in this mask. I think that would have been nice. The eyes are, I mean, they're painted white, but the way he's squinting, so much of his eyes are covered. If it's in any amount of shadow, the eyes really just disappear. I do wish they popped a bit more. You can see this left eye really just disappears entirely. The right eye is a little bit finer because I have the light over in like this area over here. Everything on the left side of the figure is kind of darkened, which is fine. But when I'm trying to like show the eye just disappears. Of course, I don't know if that's necessarily a problem of the figure or maybe it's more of a problem of the way I am lighting things. But it's annoying. I love the detail of the cowl going underneath his chin. I think that's really, really nice. But yes, this is more angry Wolverine, so he's kind of grimacing, kind of angry. I do love the short ears here, or short... What are these called? What would you call this? I do love the shortness of it, as opposed to the really, really long ones. I do like the long ones, but I love having a version of this with the shorter things. I do believe I've seen some people put this head sculpt on other Wolverine figures with a yellow paint job. It kind of works. It's not exactly the same color, so it's not the best, but it does kind of work. And I believe if you do have yellow paints, it would be pretty easy to match the paint if you wanted to, I think, because it's not like there's a whole lot you would have to cover. So if you wanted this head sculpt for other Wolverine figures, I'd say it's mostly applicable, I guess. As far as everything else, I love these details on the shoulders, the little, I guess, ridges right here. They look really, really nice. Similar details across the body, so you can see a ridge right there. Uh, some ridges right here. I love that type of stuff. Ridges on the thighs and the padding. I assume it's just all padding or whatever. I don't know what else it would be used for, um, other than just generic padding and clothing. But it looks good. Makes it stand out. Makes it look fine. I love this X-Men belt on his on his waist right here. It looks really really nice. The details on that. The boots. Nothing too special about them other than these little yellow patches, and then it has the kind of spiky bits as Wolverine would have. And then, of course, everything is pinless. No pins on the arms, the nice hairy arms. A little bit of texture, which is fine. I've had Wolverine figures with the hairy arms, but they don't paint them, and it looks absolutely bizarre. These are painted. It's not like every nub has paint on it. You can kind of see some bald nubs on there, but you have enough hair on here that it kind of hides the naked nubs, and it works. And then pinless knees, of course. I'm trying to make sure everything's in focus, and I am struggling. That is the look of the figure. Let's go over articulation, starting with focusing, of course. Focus. Are we focused? There we go. Starting with the head sculpt, it is on a ball joint, so it's going to be a little more limited than you would like, than I would like. I do prefer the little disc thing just because you get more out of it. Obviously, you do get to see that hinge, but I'd rather see the hinge and have my figure be able to look up than not have it. So personally, especially for figures like Wolverine, like Spider-Man, where they're known to be kind of crouching and looking up, I would much prefer to have that disc on there. But as far as the head goes, he can look up a little bit. He can look down just fine, rotate side to side, swivel all the way around. I don't know why we can't live in a world where we can get both swivel and look up articulation. Like, why is that so hard? As far as the arms go, we have these shoulder pads right here, which you would think might hinder it a little bit, but they do a good job at getting out of the way. If you need to move them, they move. If you need to lift the arms up, they get out of the way. So the arms come up to about right there. I'd say that's the max, which is fine. Rotates all the way around like so. It is on a butterfly joint, so let's get a look at that. Going back like so. Forward like so. Fairly decent. Swivel at the bicep. Rotates all the way around like so. Little paint splotch right there. That's unfortunate. Double jointed pinless elbows comes up to about right there, which is acceptable. Wrist goes in. Wrist goes out. Wrist goes all the way around like so. Fairly decent articulation in the arms, about what you would expect. So very happy there. This is the area I'm most excited for, so I believe he can tilt to the left, tilt to the right, go back a hair and forward a hair. I guess I should show it from the side. Goes back a hair, forward a hair, and then you have the lower cut right here in the waist, the more typical body articulation, and it can bend about that far without bending the legs, about that far, which is fine. And then it can also go back to about right there, which is again more than fine. And then of course this lower half is kind of hidden by this belt, which I appreciate. Rotate at the diaphragm, of course, rotates all the way around like so. Nothing down here, nothing lower than that, but that is okay. If I add the legs into it, he can bend to about right there, which is fantastic. I think that's wonderful. Of course, that does mean the legs come up to about right there, which is about what you would want it to be. Sorry, I have a hiccup. He can do the splits. Wow, he can do the splits. He can absolutely destroy the splits. That is insane. With the adamantium and everything, wow. You would think the adamantium would like hinder your mobility, right? But with Wolverine, it seems like he has pretty decent mobility. He can stretch pretty good, bend his arms and legs just fine. But no hindrance whatsoever. Legs bend to about right there. Did I do the thighs? They swivel. Them thighs are swiveling. Nothing down here at the boot, which is interesting because you could have, but they didn't. These legs actually come up very high if you move things out of the way, which is nice. Ankle goes down, ankle goes up, ankle kind of swivels. Yeah, there's no kinda about it. It definitely swivels. And that is the Astonishing X-Men Wolverine. This is fantastic. This is just as good as I thought it would be. Probably one of my favorite figures of the year. I'm trying to think about all the figures I've opened this year. Let's see. I think last year I gave it to that Black Widow figure. That was a great figure. This is also a great figure. It doesn't have as many accessories, which is unfortunate. But the accessories we get are fine. Plenty of hands, another head sculpt. It's just, accessories for a Wolverine figure. What more would you really want other than that? Articulation wise, it's just fantastic. It's exactly what you would want. Just why is it struggling so bad? There. Okay, I think I just had the focusing in the wrong area. Um, yeah, you get everything you would want out of a Wolverine figure. It looks good. It feels fantastic the way it articulates. It's a wonderful representation of era in comic books I'm a huge fan of, so that is a plus. And then, you know, um, it's a good figure. So it ticks all the marks. I haven't opened that Ghost Rider yet. I need to. I haven't opened Wolverine and Sabretooth, and I need to. There's a lot of figures I still need to get to before the year is up. But I am getting close to December. It is October 26th, I believe, as I'm recording this. So I do need to start thinking about the figure of the year. And this figure right here is probably one of them. If I had to go based off memory right now. But who else came out this year? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I will have to think about that off camera. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. All the things YouTubers ask you to do, just do it for me as well. And I will be back with another video, hopefully, very soon. Bye.